hungry. I don't know what to do. I used to live on pizza. Now I live on Chinese food. I can't stand my neighbors screaming all the time. If I wasn't blasting Sister Ray, I would lose my mind. I live in the city. I breathe dirty air. I ride trains with big boys, junkies, queens, and squares. Smiling, the fat man waits his turn. Soon he'll count his money while the South Bronx slowly burns. Get out for the children, get your ass and run. Get out from the stinking mess to a safe suburban slum. I live in the city, I breathe dirty air. I ride trains with B-boys, junkies, queens, and squares! New York, New York. 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 Are you talking to me?
Guys, I'll tell you this much. I was gassy. I was gassy this morning. I didn't trust myself. So I stayed on the toilet until I took a shit. And it didn't take that long. I thought it was going to take forever. But it didn't. 37 degrees. 37 degrees on the East Coast at 5:55 in the morning. Heading into Manhattan to do some work. I slept the windows open too last night, thinking that it wasn't going to get this cold. It was freezing last night. Freezing, and it's supposed to be hot out. The West Coast is dealing with one of the hottest heat waves they've ever experienced in their life, and fat boys out on the West Coast are struggling to breathe. Fat boys on the West Coast can't take the heat. Their lungs are having a hard time filling with oxygen. Yep, that's right. Zombies blocked you. Yeah, Zombies blocks. Zombies is starting to turn into one of those blockers. That's how. So Zombies is playing the attention game, guys. He does something outrageous, then you go over there, and then he blocks you so that you'll be coming back trying to see if you're unblocked. Again, he wants people over there. As much as Zombies says he doesn't want anyone over there, that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. So right now, I'm on the move. On the move, looking thin as hell. Thin as hell. While some people right now are laying in their bed and the room's spinning. Woo! 5:57 in the morning, guys. 5:57. 37 degrees out. The sun has just come up. And I look great. I look great. Yep. Stop and get some coffee. looking great and being great and feeling great is what I crave. Other people out there want it too, but they just can't. They just can't get to it. They don't have the will. They don't have the desire. They don't have the passion like I do. I'm always smiling. I'm always happy. And it's a big shout out to Josh over at the happiest guy in the world, or whatever his name is, Josh. Thank you. You inspired me to be happy. Thank you, Tony. I'll be right back. Woo! 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 Ha 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 ha! Oh, guys, I don't put any cream or any sugar in my coffee. I drink it black. Black. Ooh. Thank you, Tony. I did look boss. I wonder if we can do that every weekend. I don't trust that car that he's driving around. Reason being, because it's a piece of shit. The front end vibrates. He's like, oh, that's just what Mustangs do. I know. Dude, you bought a piece of shit, and it's starting to fall apart on you as we speak, and you don't want to admit it. That's what Johnny What's problem is. You don't want to admit that he bought a piece of shit. You can't polish a turd. I mean, you can, but it's always going to be a piece of shit. It ain't going to be anything else. So let's take the first morning sip at 6:02 a.m. 37 degrees on the East Coast, guys. Black. 7-Eleven coffee black, 2 Splenda. Oh, yeah, that's hot. Woo! Woo! Go around this Jeep. Yeah, I wish I had a convertible. That would be an awesome. That would be an awesome part of my live streams. Just being a douchebag in a convertible. I think if Noodles 1980 was gonna have a car, like I'm trying to think of the ultimate douchebag car, you know. but no one drives convertibles anymore. You rarely see people driving convertibles, at least in the Northeast. Like rarely. When I mean rarely, I mean basically Johnny What is the only guy in my hood that has one. And it's not because he's rich or he's, privileged or anything like that. No, it's just because convertibles are fucking gay. Unless it's a Saturday night, you're live streaming. I mean, I'd rather a Jeep with no top. I would also rather a Bronco with no top. Me cruise around in that. I always wanted to get like a Hummer, like a surplus Hummer that the military has given up, and just drive around in that thing, no top. Yeah, I think it's a 2004 or something like that. Yeah, you know what? The first sip of 7-Eleven coffee is the worst. The second is pretty bad. Third, you kind of get used to it. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm gonna, Dorian. That's what I'm gonna do. You don't understand, Dorian. This is gonna be the summer of douchebaggery. Just wait, Dorian. Just wait. I don't know if you noticed the blazer I was wearing that night did not fit. Absolutely did not fit. Johnny What has many vehicles. Many vehicles. He's even got a camper. Like, this is the thing. Where the fuck are his cars? He's got them like stashed all over New Jersey. And I bet you none of them work. You know what I mean? He says, "Oh, the thing drives beautiful." Well, when I drove the Mustang, it didn't drive beautiful. It wasn't a beautiful drive. So either Johnny What is extremely stoned when he's driving these cars, or he's fucking lying. Thank you, Dorian. Thank you for getting it, Dorian. Thank you. I don't know if you guys remember the movie. Yeah, showing everybody how rich I am and all that stuff. Yeah, Johnny loves life. Johnny's a life lover. Even in the morning when he's hacking up a lung, like every morning. Every morning this guy hacks up a lung. I never heard a human being cough like that every morning. He loves life. He's definitely a man. I'm telling you right now, there's not too many people out there like him. But I know people like him. If I run into someone like him, I know you're a Johnny What type. You're definitely a Johnny What type. Route 4 right now, guys, is wide open. Wide open. Passing the Teaneck Pagoda exit off of Route 4. I'm actually thinking about working on my strength this summer. Not like building muscle, but working on my strength, my endurance. Because that's one thing I lacked this winter. This winter, I lacked strength. I mean, I lacked endurance. I had the strength. It's just the endurance. Oh, shit. I spoke way too soon. Way too soon. Does Johnny know Uncle Floyd? Yeah, Johnny knows everybody. You know who Johnny you know who Johnny used to hang out with? Because Johnny's one of those guys that if you met him, you wouldn't think like he was a danger or whatever. He would just be like a thing around you, and you would enjoy it, kind of. But he used to hang out with John Gotti's kid, Dennis Gotti. Johnny What and Dennis Gotti used to hang out all the time. Johnny What's like the guy. Well, Johnny What's one of those guys that you. So growing up where I live, I don't know if you know this. Growing up where I live, you wouldn't believe like the people you'd run into, and you're not running into them in the city. You're running them into these towns, and like everybody's pretending like everything's okay, but it's not. Like so, and it's funny because I don't know if The Sopranos ever picked up on this, like the ridiculousness of this, but like you'd be walking down the street, right? And you'd pass a Gotti, and then a Gigante would come around the corner. You know what I mean? So funny. And it was like they were really nasty. Like these guys were really nasty, like supposedly in the city, but in the suburbs, they were clowns. You know, everybody was joking around. The worst thing that ever happened was they would set your trucks on fire, but that's about it. Yeah, smoking with coffee is the best. Yeah. I had a T-shirt on yesterday that said my parents said I could become anything, so I became an asshole. I was walking my dog, and Karen told me it was a gross shirt. You know what? I had this. I used to be into this band called the Meatmen. The Meatmen are a great band. Tesco V of the Meatmen. I think he's a great entertainer. He used to do. Do you guys remember a show called Way America on MTV? It was about like MTV back in the 80s, like would go to like different parts of the United States. Well, Tesco V used to be the host of that show, and they used to have this album called "Crippled Children Suck." It's a drawing of a bunch of crippled kids. It's like a cartoon drawing of a bunch of crippled kids, and like people, and it just says "Crippled Children Suck." And then I had a shirt called "We're the Meatmen and You Suck," and people used to hate that shirt, man. People used to tell me all the time that was the worst shirt. What happened to this dump truck? Oh wow! Oh, this guy! Oh my God! They're taking pictures of this dump truck. Who's? Oh shit! He crushed that fucking car. Crushed that car. Wow! Crushed it. Brand new Tesla. Wow, that sucks. That sucks. Yeah, I used to have offensive shirts. People used to get offended by. But here's the thing, everybody gets offended by everything. Everybody's being told what to do. Everybody's being told what's funny, how to dress, like all this stuff. It's very, it's kind of weird. It's like the opposite of punk rock. Like everybody became like weirdly, like all these liberals who think that they're liberal and whatever. They're really conservative assholes. This is one thing that I'm starting to realize about these people. They're all fucking. All these fucking like these liberal like friggin' they're all conservative assholes. That's what they're doing. They're telling people how to dress. They're telling people what to say. And tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, whoever fucking hit the back of that dump truck is fucked. They hit that dump truck square. Wow. Do people even use? So that's the thing. Do people even use Vaseline? You know what I mean? Like I think when gay people hear that, I think they're like, oh, you're so stupid. Like no one uses Vaseline. No one's using Vaseline for that. They're using Astroglide. And for somebody to walk into a store and ask for that, or go to the counter with that, I kind of wonder, like, are you being judged? I think you'd be judged more by going to the counter with lube than you would buying a pack of cigarettes. Oh, lubed up. And like God has become like punk rock. I don't know if you guys noticed this. But like the idea of God, and if you believe in God, it's like considered like this fucking like badass thing now. Like, you got to be crazy. You got to be whatever. If you believe in your right, your freedom of speech, Second Amendment, you're considered a nut job. Like who the fuck convinced everybody that it was wrong to have these freedoms? And why are white people so concerned about blacks? I mean, think about it. I'm not concerned about it. I never black people don't cross my mind ever in their lives. I just assume that they're living the same fucking bullshit existence I am. Just seen what I fucking farted. I'm telling you, like, I don't know if it's the sushi or what, but like, I basically shit most of the rice. I know there's more stuff up there. It's gotta be. So now we're stuck on Route 4 heading into the bridge. Yeah, like kind of silly how it was to like dress like you'd have a mohawk or whatever. That's what I'm saying. Like people think it's like fucking like it's crazy, you know? I'm telling you, like all these fucking liberal people, man, they've turned into these conservatives telling black people what they should think. I mean, what the fuck? You know, it's funny. One day there's going to be a movement soon where these black people are going to say, listen, I'm telling you, all you liberals are gonna look fucking stupid in the next 20 years because you're telling people what to do. Actually, no, I don't know if you know that, Rubs. Just a couple weeks ago, the whatever telescope, the Jeff whatever telescope, has discovered that the Big Bang Theory is actually not correct. They have to rewrite it. I don't know if you know that. That's the truth. They can see with this telescope the creation of a galaxy or a universe or something like that, and they're like, well, this stuff is forming way faster than we thought, and it's not forming in order. You can look it up. It's true. So this is my point. Like when you give someone shit for believing in something that someone wrote a long time ago, but you believe in something that was written by a man fucking like let's say 50 years ago, and then now they're telling you that it's wrong, and now you're gonna believe this guy. Just you can't even apply it to your life, and you're believing in it. It's so stupid. Like God, you could at least apply to your life. For instance, we know creation exists. I was created. The computer that you're on right now was created. Creation's real. You try to apply all this other stuff to your life, you end up like, it's like, what's the point? It doesn't work. You ever notice that? So the Big Bang is literally still in space, which Professor... I'm telling you, go look it up right now. Google it. If you want, I'll do a whole live stream on it just to prove you wrong. Why are your ass and asteroids in space? Guess it's better than asteroids in your ass. Yeah, probably. I just, again, like I don't like telling people what to do, and I don't think people like being told what to do. But the people that are telling others what to do and how to think, or whatever, I mean, that's what Nazis did. That's what fucking communists do. With capitalism, they put it out there and they say, hey, you want to try this? You don't ever have to try it again. But if you want to try it, give us some money. Sounds pretty damn fair. Feel free to do whatever you want. Feel free to spend money on whatever you want. Yeah, well, God stepped away from humanity a long time ago. God already created everything for you. Yeah, there's no need for a God. You're doing just fine, Rubs. This is what most people believe. They believe that one day you're going to die. They just think it's natural, but no one wants to die. It's very strange. I just find that very strange. Everybody believes that they're going to die. Everybody knows that they're going to die, but they don't want to. Very fucking strange. And then some people insist that people have to die for the world to be a better place for I don't know who. Okay? And they pick and choose the people who are the most evil while they're flying around in their jets. You know what I mean? It's just a very bizarre world. And these are the people that you listen to. These are the people that you recite. These are the people that you quote. And these are your gods. These people that are constantly wrong. Think about that. I don't know. I don't know anyone who believes in God that gives their life meaning. I don't know. I don't know anyone who lives like that. I think that's a story that was made up by a man that was told over and over again, and you repeat it. Again, there's provocateurs and activists out there, and I'm starting to think that you're one of them. There is literally no point in anything in the world. Yeah, that's my point. Like, so if you're going to do that, or if you're going to believe that, why don't you just kill yourself? You know? But nobody wants to die. And there are very few people who want to die. And then those people who want to die, I got to ask you this. Because I believe that everything's all about your wants and not what your needs. Or I think your wants are more important than your needs. So the people out there who believe that they want to die, do you want everyone to die or just yourself? I never understood that. Because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You know? Well, God is. God is creation. There was no creation before God. It's like consciousness or fire. And just because there had to have been like one point in history of the universe, of time, of whatever, the first fire had to be lit. Where did that happen? We don't know. But just because you've never created fire or whatever doesn't mean that it didn't exist. It doesn't exist. The potential of it exists, and it was always there. Always. Well, some people do. Some people worship. Some people worship material, like, so. For instance, anything could be your god. But when you're talking about the God, the one God, the God that created everything, the Creator, talking about creation, you know, God is creation. God's a creator, but God always was. It's like consciousness. Consciousness is only here because you're witnessing it. But the potential is always there. That's because we have a lot of third world people in our country. That's why American IQs are so low. I mean, just give it a few years and let all these highly uneducated Africans into your villages and cities and see what happens. I mean, this is how far behind Europe is with immigration and everything like that. I mean, we've had our black president. You guys haven't. You guys don't really have immigration. You guys were arguing about certain Germans going back into Germany at one point. I mean, can you imagine if you were talking about Africans or Mexicans or Asians? Wait until that happens. And the thing is that a lot of Americans, okay, don't even speak English. I mean, think about that. That's the main language here. That's how everyone does business. Noodles is cheating on your girlfriend just for pleasure. But what do you? I don't know what you're talking about, Sifton. Yeah, but America has done more things in the past 200 years than Europe has ever done in the past thousands of years. You know what I mean? Think about what we've done. We're the fastest, smartest, fucking whatever. I mean, if the American IQ is so low, then how come Europe can't compete? It's like I don't get it. Well, why is that even possible? How is that possible? And what does that say about the Europeans? And again, I want to say this, that every 10 to 20 years, there's a genocide in Europe. Europe's not a good place. I mean, the worst thing that we have to hear about in the United States is school shootings. In our history books, you rarely hear anything about mass graves or internment camps or anything like that. But in Europe, it's a common practice. And if that IQ thing is true, then what are Europeans doing with their IQs? Really nothing. I mean, think about it. They're just a bunch of people who passed a bunch of tests and just sit there and do nothing and say, I'm smart. And then they get into these wars all the time. I guess smart people must love war in Europe. This is the thing. We have more culture in the United States than Europe does. We have African culture. We have South American culture, North American culture, Central American culture, European culture, Asian culture. We got everything here. Europeans don't. Europeans have European culture. I mean, just go take a ride through Manhattan and you'll see what I'm talking about. Doodles, I need your opinion on couples cheating on each other. Okay, what is it? I mean, what's the scenario? Listen, people who cheat, in my opinion, they're not. They had an idea of what they wanted their relationship to be, and it didn't turn out that way. That's it. And now they're looking for it somewhere else. I think it's a bunch of people that won't give up on their dreams. It's like these women. Again, they can't face the fact that they're older and they don't have the pussy power anymore, you know? So they create a thing called cougar or MILF. No. Trust me. Hey, Krista. Really? Well, I'm pretty sure Seasons mentioned Leo's kid a couple of times. And let's be honest. Let's be completely honest. White Americans are so uncultured. If that's true, then how come white Americans are leading everything in the world? You know, I guess being cultured really doesn't matter when it comes to leading people in technology and everything. You know, this is the one thing that when people say cultured, what do you mean by that? You know, yes, Krista the Queen. You're right, Krista. You know, you and Gracie, I really thought you guys were going to nail it this week, going live again. It's all on you. You do whatever you want, but you know, I've been hoping and praying that you would go live. Getting nothing. Krista, you got to fix the settings on that on your channel, because it won't let me get notifications, and you can't leave comments on your videos. Tony, it's just an angry person spouting off shit. Yeah, exactly, Buff. Buff, let me tell you something. I had this conversation with this Turkish guy one time. He got so mad at me because he's like, you don't leave the country. I'm like, no, why would I leave the country? He goes, don't you wanna see things in other countries? I'm like, no, I could see them on the computer, and I can ask you about them. He goes, oh. I'm like, listen, Turk, okay? For me to get on a goddamn plane and fly to Turkey, right? You're talking about fucking, I got to come up with like 10 grand? No, I'm not going to do that. You do that. You know, these motherfuckers in Turkey who complain about people not traveling, all right? They can hop on a plane and go anywhere for like $100 round trip. That's like me flying down to DC or something like that. First of all, you go to a place like Mexico, you got to worry about the water. No, thank you. I don't want to have to worry about the goddamn water in Mexico. So disgusting. It's a disgusting country. Well, listen, Buff, I've been telling you this. Move to the United States. I think that's the best place for you. It's the best place for everybody. The land of opportunity, if you have an education. And I think that, like, again, you got a lot of uneducated people coming to the United States, and then people complain about it. Other white people complain about it. It's like, well, then don't let these uneducated people in. Oh, but we got to. Why? Oh, because they're brown. Oh. And then they want to tell these brown people what to do and how to think. And if you're brown and you think a certain way, they call you an Uncle Tom. It's very bizarre. Like, we want all these brown people here, and we want to tell them what to do. That kind of reminds me of what they did about it a couple hundred years ago in this country. That kind of reminds me of slavery. And again, it's these white liberals. It's these white liberals that want to tell black people how to feel, what to do, how to spend their money. Why are you so invested in black people, white people? Very bizarre. I never count heads. And I say, there's not enough black people here. You never hear me complaining about that. The only time I've ever brought that up was in this community. I just said, where are all the black people? And then I think to myself, oh yeah, it's right. They're a minority. And this is a very low count fucking community. So ipso facto, the blacks are represented here by Quindarius the Black Jones. And beautiful, cool Nicole. Yeah. Yeah, I know, Krista. It's something that you got to get over. If you don't want to do it, Krista, don't do it. Just saying, it's not, it's not that big a deal. And again, if you ever need help, Krista, I'll help you. Maybe you can come on someone's panel, Krista, and get a taste. I don't know. To be honest with you, Krista, I don't know. I think YouTube would be a lot more fun if more people participated, But that's just me. And again, I don't tell people what to do. Oh my God, I got a big fart coming on. Oh yeah. That was a ripper. That was a real ripper. Mm. When people say like certain races, contributed to the growth of this country or the creation of this country, I always think, well, okay, if you believe that, then what about the white people? How much did they create? Everything. White people had to tell these other people what to do here and how to do it. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if let's say it was just Chinese people on the West Coast, do you think they would have been building railroads? White people told them what to do. White people gave them the steel, gave them the planks of wood, gave them all that stuff to build. That's the truth. These Chinese people just didn't come here and just start fucking building railroads. It's not what happened. These Chinese people came here because there was opportunity and their country sucked. And these white people came here and made this country awesome. That's what people leave out. They want to bring up race when it comes to creation. But then when it comes to like, well, they say, well, what about the white people? No one wants to talk about it. It's very, very strange. I mean, you want to talk about rewriting history. Oh, shit. What does Spider's hair look like? A Rottweiler's hair. He got his hair done like his Rottweiler. We might run into him today. I haven't seen him in like 3 days. Oh, what does it feel like? I don't know. I never touched Spider's hair. I did look at it really close yesterday because he gets his hair done like his dog. So he's he's a very creative autistic person. So he, he comes in one day and he's like, "Dude, check out my hair," and he's going like this, and he's got all the dreadlocks and stuff. I'm like, okay, you color it. He's like, yeah, like my Rottweiler. I was like, man, you can't make that up. It's awesome. That's creativity. It's like black and orange, like a Rottweiler. You know what I mean? Stewie in Family Guy said it's like a sheep. Again, I don't know. I don't usually walk around touching people's hair. I remember there was this one kid, man. There was this one kid, Neil, that me and Craig were both friends with, and I was infatuated with this kid's hair, and it was so gay, but it was weird. He had no joke. You ever pet a rabbit? Like he had rabbit hair on his head. It was so soft and like just like it felt like a fucking like you were touching a rabbit. And he's completely bald right now today, 2023. I ran into him a couple years ago. But I was like, what the fuck? And his hair was like white blonde. It wasn't just blonde, it was like white blonde. That I always thought was cool. And then the first time I ever touched hair that was buzzed, because, there's always a first time for everything. I remember back in the 80s, kids always had like kind of like the Dutch boy haircuts and stuff like that, you know? Um, and then all of a sudden, parents started buzzing their kids' heads. And it was like, whoa. I knew a girl who was obsessed with guys with buzz hair. And I don't know what it was like growing up in Scotland in the 80s. I don't even know if you grew up in the 80s, Buff Carrot, but um, growing up in the United States, especially on the East Coast, there was a lot of weird shit going on. Like I remember parachute pants. I remember fucking, lines in people's hair and stuff like that. And everything was like day glow and weird colors. The 90s really sucked as far as colors go. And I always think back to, remember that movie Back to the Future? They always added like a day glow color to everything. I mean, eventually it will eventually come back, but it's such a disgusting. It's a disgusting feeling. It's kind of like upsetting, and that's what art is. If it's creating an emotion inside of you, then it's art. I always thought curly hair was gay. Never liked curly hair. Oh yeah, get those pictures, baby. Parking lot. this. Grab my coffee. I gotta put some shit away, guys. Thursday. We back the week. It's Thursday. I got up this morning. It was like 37.
Yeah, it's crazy weather. Same time, right?
Yeah, just gonna pull the shit out. All right, thank you. You up? Sound, am I back? Yeah, I'm back now. Yeah. So it's super cold out here. There's like people walking around with blankets on, which is really weird. Um, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna smoke a cigarette and go inside. It's really, really cold. So, all right, I'll see you guys later.